let's see. Oh, it is afternoon. Good afternoon from Northern Ontario. We've had a couple of snowstorms here, so we've got some snow finally. First batch we got disappeared within a day, but anyway. So what we're going to do today is I am going to weather, or with oil washes, this wall of the quarry. I have already done one of the back walls. I'll just switch here so you can see it. You can see that it is substantially different from the wall that's here, because it's got blacks, browns, yellows, burnt umber, burnt ochre, all sorts of different colors. And we're going to use oil washes today. I've noticed on many of the sites, whether it's just straight modeling and not model railroading, or model railroading sites, that oil washes seem to be the thing of the day. And I thought, well, it just means might as well give it a shot. Like I said, everything here is an experiment, and we're going to do that. So what I did is I went out and I bought, where are they? Oh, right here. Went to our local art store. We're pretty lucky in Espanola. We have a store that actually sells real art supplies. And I bought a little set of oil paints. Now, I'm not probably going to use all of these in weathering. I don't know that I'm ever going to use something that's called Cerulean Blue. Or let's see what we got here. We got something that's called Pale Peach. So, but I did get enough out of that set, and it was dirt cheap. It was under 20 bucks. I did get enough out of that set to get about 6 colors that will work for this, and that's what I did that wall with that I just showed you. And then, of course, I do have paints I specifically bought for weathering rolling stock and locos and other stuff. These guys just comes all the way from Germany, and everything on the labels in German, except for the fact that it says ochre, which is this one is a burnt umber. And I have ordered from Michael's a whole bunch of oil paints that come in slightly larger tubes. Probably last me a lifetime, but they're not here yet, so we're going to use this small set and those 2 tubes, and we're going to weather this wall. Now, what I did was I went out again to the dollar store and I picked up some jars. I put some, in this case, it's, what do they call it, mineral spirits? Yeah, mineral spirits in the jar, and then I put in some oil paint. So that's an ochre. This is a burnt umber, and we're going to start with this one, which is black. So, I mean, this is really not rocket science. I'm going to open that jar. And all you do is pour in a amount of thinner you think you'll need for a wash. Take your tube of paint and put in a drop of paint. Now, I must admit there's more than a drop of paint in that little jar. And probably by the time I finish the weathering all of the quarry, that tube's going to be empty. So that's why I went ahead and ordered paint from Michael's. So I'm just going to stir this up, get this here. Now, this is a very liquidy wash. So the idea here is for it to run down the walls, seep into the cracks, and show off. So you can see that it's soaked into that little tongue depressor pretty well, and that's what we wanted to do to the wall of the quarry. So I'm going to step up on my little bench here So once again, you may not see much of me but with my hands. And we're going to start down in, let's see, where will we start? Well, with the way that camera's angled right now, I think we probably should just start and work our way down this way. So, slide this little bench over. Canadian Tire Special. And I'm going to jump up. There we go. Now, so, this is dead simple. Take the brush. I'm going to stir that up a little bit more, just to make sure it's absolutely stirred up. And then just take the brush and let this stuff flow down the wall. And you can see quite quickly how it changes the way the wall appears. Now, no rock face that I've seen in photographs is the same color everywhere. There's the way the earth is made up. Lots of the rock has different mineral compositions in it, and so you get many different colors in the rock. So that's why we've got so many colors here. The other thing I did once the wall was a little bit more set is I went back and dry brushed an oil based white paint over top to bring out the crests in the top of the rocks and give it a little bit more definition. Now, like I say, this doesn't take long to do. You can see it flows pretty well. We got to remember to do the tops here. And of course, it pools in some areas, and where it pools, it's going to dry darker. So we're just going to keep going here. I'm just going to see where. Okay, so what we're going to do is we'll probably do it down to here where I'm slapping my hand on the wall here, and we'll call it quits for the video. Again, most of what we do in model railroading is fairly repetitive when it comes to stuff like this. And like I said before many times in the videos, you don't need to see me do 2 or 3 hours of this. 15 or 20 minutes would be more than enough. So we're going to just keep going here. And get this done. So I'm just going to do this black all the way down. And then I'm going to switch over to the colors. Now, after working with this with the mineral spirits, I realized it had an odor, and I wasn't sure whether it was safe or not. So the next batch I make up, I decided, well, if I'm going to do this more than often, I might as well buy a large bottle of something. And so Home Hardware has this odorless paint thinner. I haven't even opened it yet, so I don't know how odorless is. But I would recommend getting the odorless thinner, just to give yourself a little more room to breathe that isn't paint odor everywhere. Now you can see how much it's changed the rock face. Here's no wash, and here is the black wash. So what I'm going to do now, and I'm not even going to clean my brush, I'm going to cap the black because I am sometimes prone to knocking things over and causing accidents. So now I'm going to go and where are you? I'm going to take some of this. I didn't use this before, but I'm going to take some of it now and put the burnt umber in there. Let's see. Now I've seen some people say that you got to put this on cardboard and let some of the solvents in the paint leach out. I'm not so sure that it's necessary. I mean, after all, you're putting solvent over top of it anyway. So, but I have seen. Now I think mostly those people have been using these on vehicles, so they're trying to get as much of the fluid out, I guess, or the turpentine and stuff out. So now this is pretty well random now. I mean, you don't go back and cover the whole thing, but you sort of just decide on where you want stuff to be darker and lighter and stuff. So it really is a very random thing. And the beautiful thing about these oil washes is since they take so long to dry, you can just come back with the black over top if you don't like it, and it will cover it up. They'll blend right in together and cover it up. So you can see already that we've got some changes in color, and as the mineral spirits wicks off and stuff, it does change color a bit. It's not as bright as you would think. Here, I just managed to stick my hand in wet paint. So here we go. I'm just going to come down here to the end and just show you what this looks like without anything on it. That's without any black underneath. You know, like I said, I'm not worried about that because I can just go over top of it with the black and it'll blend right back. So you just, on this, what I tend to do is I really tend to put a lot on, and then I let the paint run down by itself. That way, it sort of finds the cracks and stuff. If you're concerned that you got little rivulets that are showing up, you just take your brush and get rid of them. And one of the other things I'm going to do here, once this is set up, is I'm going to the floor of the quarry is going to be a grout. You saw it when I did the grout when I did the boring machine on the little tiny dining room, which is now glued in place down here in the back corner. Here we go. You can see it right. Whoop. Where am I going? There we are. There we are. Sorry, folks. Old man doing model railroad here. So down here, right down here. And what I've done with it is I glued it in place, and of course there was a gap between the quarry wall and the edges of the little diorama. So for 3 days last week, I took the ornamental stone that I bought that you use for gardening, and I made up a big batch of black wash paint, and I stuck all those rocks in a little bucket, filled the bucket with the rocks, and then I poured in that paint. And so I put paint around. Yeah, I'm having trouble today. Jeez, where are we? There we are. And then I put the rocks in around the edge, and I put another batch into yesterday in another bucket and soaking, because those rocks are brown that you get from the decorative stone, and I want them gray or black. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in around that with real stone, and I'll probably mix up a Mod Podge and PVA solution and put it on top to glue them in place. But right now, some of the straight edges of that little diorama, they're just a little bit too obvious for me, so I'm going to have to do something about that. So here, we're just going to finish here with the brown. And we're going to go to the yellow ochre. Now, the yellow ochre sort of simulates like a rusty kind of look. And so, here we go. Once again, cap the bottle off so we don't spill anything. Now, the one thing about the dry brushing the white is you've got to wait. You've got to wait till this stuff sets a bit. Otherwise, all you end up doing is mixing the white in with the black, and you just get gray. Well, we started with gray, so we don't want gray again. We want a different color. So now this is the yellow ochre, and it too should be just, I'll do it. See here how yellow that is. But once it goes over top, it sort of looks like rust. And you just dab it on. And sometimes I like to make an entire streak from the top to the bottom that's that color, indicating that there's a different rock strata here than just here, here. Like I'm saying, the other thing I'm going to do is we're going to use that grout, and that's probably next week's video, is to do the whole bottom surface of this with the grout. I'm going to have to think about placement of the big shovel, where it's going to go, because I want to be able to make impressions in the grout of the tracks, so it appears the machine's actually moving around inside this quarry. So you can see now we've got different colors down there. I'm going to come back here and I'm going to put a little bit in this corner. Now, over the past couple of months, I've been having a Pinterest account that sends me pictures of stuff. And the two things that I have set up to follow are large mining machinery, so I get the painting and the colors and the look of stuff right, and the other is quarries themselves. So I've sort of immersed myself in what quarries look like, so although I say this is random, I am trying to be very conscious of what I'm doing here. So that's that. And I do have some other jars here and some other paint. I might just try another color in here. So you can see it's not that difficult. It is it just takes time and patience. I am going to come back once this stuff sets up, and I'm going to put some of the grout up on these ledges, these benches that are part of the quarry, just to give it more depth, a better look. For the most part, with the distance from where the cameras are, you probably won't be able to see it. But like I say, next week we are going to do the base of this floor. The week after that, we're going to work on. I'm going to have to change. I'm going to have to figure out how to get a camera on this side of the wall. But it shouldn't take much. I've got 3 cameras right now running, and we should be able to do this no problem. So I'm just going to switch you to one more camera here, and that's camera 3 for a second. And so you can see a different angle and see a little bit better the colors now that that's that's been painted. The oil paint's dry matte. So if we go, you can see at the end of the quarry there that there's no gloss or any shine or anything, and they've gone successfully over top of the household latex paint that I sprayed last week. So I'm just going to step down here, and this bench is like almost 2 feet high. It comes right to my knees. So again, it's not worth you watching me do the entire wall and then move cameras and do the entire wall over there. It's just not worth it. It'd be, just a waste of time, more or less. I tend to shoot these videos all at one go, and sort of a one take wonder for getting the video done. It's the easiest way for me, since I don't have anybody else helping me run cameras and switching and things. Anyway, I want to thank you for watching this week. And if you like what you see, hit the thumbs up. If you want to subscribe, it's great. It's free. It doesn't cost you anything. Just all you get is notifications when I put up a new video, and it helps with my analytics. It seems now I have 5 subscribers, which is nice, but again, not why I'm doing this. All right. So anyway, thank you very much for watching today. Have a good week, and I'll see you next week when we do the floor of the quarry. And so goodbye.